Srimadpadvakya Praman Paravari Vedamar Pratishtapan Acharya Nikila Darshan Samanvaya Acharya Sanatan Vedic Dharma Pratishtapan Satsampadaya Paramacharya Bhakti Yogras Avatar Bhagavadanand Shri Vibhushit JagadGuru Tam Swami Shri 1008 Shri Kripaluji Maharaj He Akaran Karuna Patita Pavan Shri Krishna Tumse vimukh hone ke karan Anadikal se humne Ananta Ananta Dukha paaye Evam par rahe hai Paap karte karte Antahakaran Itana malin ho chuka hai ki Rasiko dwara yaha jaan bhi कि तुम अपने बुझाओ के पसारे हमारी प्रतीक्षा अपनी वात्सल्यमय दृष्टि से हमारी प्रतीक्षा कर रहे हो तुम्हारे शरण में नहीं आ पाता. O my divine beloved, causelessly merciful Sri Krishna, O all attractive one, having ignored you since time immemorial, I have been suffering, committing sins lifetime after lifetime. I've made my mind so polluted, even though your saints are telling me you're waiting for me with arms outstretched to embrace me, with a divine life to grace me, still I fail to surrender to you completely. All glories to Sri Sri Radhesham. All glories to all saints and sages. All glories to the devas. All glories to all aspiring souls. Thank you for joining me. Time travel. We have been to hell and heaven and this earth countless times. For the decay of the body, the demise of the body, the death of the body, has nothing to do with you and me, the beginningless and endless soul. Mamo vamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha. Sri Krishna describes in 15:7 of the Gita that all souls are fractions of me. God is speaking. All souls are fractions of me and are all beginningless and endless. Just as God is beginningless and endless, so are we. And never was there a time that you and I and God did not exist, and never shall there be a time that you and I and God will cease to exist. So we have been to hell and heaven and this earth countless times, and we have transmigrated through 8.4 million forms in this earth countless times. Today we're considering what it means to time travel. This galaxy we live in, called the Milky Way, is 100,000 light years across in diameter. There are hundreds of billions of solar systems in our Milky Way galaxy. And then there are hundreds of billions. In fact, the Vedas say countless, but scientists have hundreds of billions, which is, let's take it from there. Our universe has hundreds of billions of galaxies. Our Earth is 7,913 miles in diameter. And in our solar system, Jupiter is the largest planet, which is 870,000 miles in diameter, approximately 11 times the size of the Earth. Pluto, which is now not considered a planet, but according to the Vedas, it's a planet, and it's the planet of the Lord of Death called Yama. Pluto is 5,900,000,000 miles away from our sun, and it takes 248 years for Pluto to orbit our sun. Our solar system has the Earth, Mars, which is called Mangal in Sanskrit, Mercury, which is called Bud, Jupiter, which is Brihaspati, the guru of the Devtas, Venus, which is Sukra, Shani, Saturn, Uranus, Arun, Neptune, Varun, and Pluto, who the Greeks used to worship, is called Yam. So our solar system is also orbiting our Milky Way galaxy and takes 5,900,000,000 years for one circumambulation of our Milky Way galaxy. The light from the center of our Milky Way galaxy takes 25,000 years to reach us. Our sunlight takes 8 minutes. Everyone should know that. And our moonlight, what we're seeing, is 8 minutes ago when we look at the sun. What we're seeing when we look at the moon is about 1.1 seconds ago. If we look at the closest solar system, which is Alpha Centauri, we're actually looking at 4.3 years ago. And if you look at the solar systems further away, you're looking at 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago. And if you look beyond our Milky Way galaxy, then those galaxies are 100, 1,000, 1,000,000, 1,000,000,000, several billions of years ago. So time is measured in space-time according to the speed of light, which is 186,000 miles per second. When we look at Alpha Centauri, we're looking at the time the light left that solar system to reach our eyes, it took 4.3 years to reach us, which means traveling at the speed of light for 4.3 years, 1 light year's distance is 6 trillion miles covered in 1 light year. So these are just part of God's creation in the material realm. Then there is 3/4 of God's eternal kingdom called Vaikuntha, which is 3/4 of his domain. This material universe is just 1/4, and yet it seems infinite. Let me give you an example of time travel. There was a great king, a yogi, in the age of Satya, the golden age. The golden age, the silver age, the bronze age, and today we live in the iron age, which began 5,000 years ago and still has 427,000 years before this iron age is finished and the day of Brahma is over. So, in the golden age, King Revat had a son named Kakudmi, and his granddaughter was named Revati. They all were great yogis, and she was a great yogini. They were so accomplished in mysticism that they could voluntarily exit their body, store it in cold storage in the mountains in a state of suspended animation, and travel in their subtle body to any region of the material universe. You know, we are living in 5 layers of bodies. This, what you see in the mirror, is called Annamaya Kosh. This body that is made of food that you see in the mirror. And then there is more subtle bodies, body made of the wind, which is called Pranamaya Kosh, which you don't see. Then there's Manamaya Kosh, which is the body made of the mind, from the etheric field, the etheric element, space. Then there's the body mind called Buddhamaya Kosh, made up of the intellect. Then there's Anandamaya Kosh. So the soul resides in various layers of body, gross and subtle and more subtle. So great mystics had the ability of coming out of their body, just like you leave your body in bed and you go in your mind and you are in a dream state. And the mind, which houses the senses, you also see in your dream state. You hear and you see and you feel fear and you feel everything in your dream state. It's another aspect of consciousness. Consciousness has 3 states. The waking state right now, dream state, and deep sleep. And in the dream state, you're experiencing everything as you do in a waking state. So these yogis were capable of exiting their body voluntarily and then traveling in their subtle bodies to different regions of the material universe. So King Kakudmi, the son of Revat, along with his daughter Revati, went to their benefactor, Brahma, who is living in the highest region of the galaxy, our galaxy, north. He is north of the North Star. And they desired to inquire from him a suitable match, a suitable groom for their illustrious daughter, who was not only extremely beautiful, but was accomplished in all facets, all talents, and she was a great mystic. So they wanted a bridegroom that is compatible with her. And Brahma, being their benefactor, they decided to go to his abode. When they got there, Brahma was engaged in a musical recital given by the Gandharv king and the accomplished musician of the demigods called Chitraratha. And they had to wait in Brahma's abode for 15 minutes. After the recital was over, Brahma met them and they solicited from Brahma the desire to know who was a suitable groom for their daughter. Brahma laughed and said, "My dear son, my dear daughter, you arrived here at the speed of mine, which took no time from the earth to my abode. But while waiting in my abode for 15 minutes, 15 minutes of my time equals 84 cycles of the 4 ages have gone by, have passed in the earth. 1 day of Brahma is equal to 1,000 cycles of the 4 ages. The 4 ages are comprised of the Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age, and now Iron Age. The Golden Age is 1,780,000 years in duration. The Silver Age is 1,296,000 years in duration. The Bronze Age, which was just recent, we have found artifacts proving that there was a Bronze Age just before this Iron Age, which presently everything is made of iron. Those skyscrapers couldn't be possible without iron. So this is the Iron Age. And the Bronze Age is 864,000 years in duration. This Iron Age is 432,000 years in duration. 1,000 times these 4 ages is 1 day of Brahma. And 1,000 times these 4 ages is 1 night of Brahma. At the end of every day of Brahma, all the planets in our galaxy gets dissolved and only Brahma's abode remains. And he goes to sleep. And at the beginning of his day, after 1,000 cycles of the 4 ages is the duration of his night, his day begins and he recreates everything. In the meanwhile, everything in our galaxy resides in the Divine Lord. Until the day of Brahma begins, then all the souls get once again placed into the circumstance that they deserve to continue from where they left off. So that's Brahma's time. Then Brahma smiled and said to them, 84 cycles of the 4 ages have gone by. 84 cycles of the 4 ages is 362,620,000 years have gone by in 15 minutes of Brahma's time. Brahma lives in our time. Brahma lives in our time 311 trillion 40 billion years. That's his 100 years. Right now, Brahma is 50 years old. And therefore, he is 155 trillion 20 billion years old. In his 50 years, our sun used up its fuel and was regenerated 18,000 times. Multiply 50 by 360, you will get 18,000. 18,000 times this earth was dissolved and regenerated. Our solar system, our galaxy was dissolved and regenerated 18,000 times. And that's the 50 years of Brahma. So, space-time is measured in light years. And Revati and Kakudmi were then told by Brahma, since all those kings and princes that you may have desired to know of who is suitable, they have lived countless lives and died countless times already in this 362,620 years that have passed in my 15 minutes. So, they're no more to be seen or known of even. However, right now, it's the Bronze Age in the earth. And Krishna comes to the earth once in half a day of Brahma, which is the present time of Brahma. And his brother Balaram is there also. They live in the city of Dwarka. He will make a suitable groom for your daughter. So they went to Balaram and they inquired if he is willing to accept his daughter. And Balaram agreed, but human beings in the golden age are 14 feet tall. And they live for 100,000 years. In the Silver Age, you live for 10,000 years. In the Bronze Age, you live for 1,000 years. Even in the Bible, there's descriptions of Enoch living for 600 years and other people living for 1,000 years. And as time goes by, as the water, the food, the air, everything becomes polluted, man diminishes in his stature, in his size, and in the duration of life. Eventually, it's described that as this age comes to an end, man will be no taller than 3 feet and will live maximum 30 years. And by that time, you're 16 years old, you'll be a grandfather. Children will beget children. Everything will become so degraded. So, Revati, who was 14 feet tall, because they went to Brahma's abode in the Golden Age. And now it's the Bronze Age. And Balaram is 7 feet tall. So Balaram requested that she, through her yogic ability, reduce her size so that they can be compatible. And they got married. So my dear aspiring souls, we need to inquire, first of all, who we are. We don't even know who we are. So think about it. If you start a mathematical equation and the very beginning of the equation you make a mistake, then the middle of the equation is wrong, then the conclusion, the result of the equation will be wrong, and that's why we don't know ourselves, so therefore everything we seek and the purpose of the life remains unknown. Therefore, everything is wrong about what we aspire for. We don't know the purpose. We don't know the purpose because we don't know who we are. We are individual souls. And we have come and gone from this earth countless times with starting out wrong by thinking we are the body. You know, you never say I body. You say my body. That means you are different from your body. Just like you say my car. You're different from your car. It belonged to you. So what belonged to you is always different from you. You're an eternal soul. You're as old as God. And now your opportunity is there to enter into a kingdom that transcends material existence, that transcends even Brahma's body and Brahma's duration of life, which is 311 trillion 40 billion years. That is just a drop of time where eternity is concerned, because eternity is timeless. And we have an opportunity now as a human being to attain a life in a body that is timeless. We haven't forgotten our nature. We all desire happiness that is endless. We all desire ever youthful bodies. Isn't it? We all want to be youthful forever. We are all looking for that fountain of youth. Right now, the scientists are trying to find how you can preserve youth forever. There are even some rich people who have died and they have suspended their body in deep freeze, hoping that one day they will find the cause of life and will reintroduce life into their now frozen bodies. So they don't know they're the soul that is already eternal. And these bodies we live in are temporary. It's inevitable that this body, which is born, goes through aging, decay, disease, and death. That's the nature of all material bodies. However, the demise of the body is not the demise of you, the soul. So you need to start thinking of how you can transcend the material universe, which God is giving you an opportunity to do now as a human being. The regions of the heavens, those demigods, the angels, they desire this human opportunity, because in this human opportunity we do actions that can give us the privilege of accumulate merits. The Lord says that whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever rituals you perform, whatever you give in charity, do it all for His sake. And then it is a divine act. And divine acts, everything done for God's pleasure, is the necessary actions that will help you to transcend the material realm, even Brahma's abode, and enter into the Vaikuntha regions, which is that region where God and His associates live in countless planetary systems with countless associates in divine bodies that experience perpetual youth, perfect knowledge of past, present, and future, where time has no effect, where you live in perpetual joy. This is your opportunity right now. Don't settle for less. You have to desire the divine and give up desiring what is temporary. Practice. Sri Krishna says, Abhyasena tu kuntiya vairagena cha griyate. By practicing to remember God and offering all your actions and desires and thoughts, which will then make you attached to God, and give up the attachment for the world. And then by so doing again and again, practice makes perfect. You will then become attached to God more and more until He becomes yours and you belong to Him. The Lord says that Yomam pashati sarvatra sarvam mahi pashati tasyaham na pranashami sachame na pranashyate. That the one who always sees me in everyone and in everything, He is never lost to me, nor am I ever lost to him. So everything depends on your practice of remembering God, that I'm living for his sake. And then he will reciprocate that. Thank you for joining me. May Radha and Krishna bless you. All glories to Sri Maharaji. Please join us next Sunday at the same time. You will hear JagadGuru Sri Kripaluji Maharaj, who is truly capable of disseminating this information I am trying to give you. Jai Shri Radhe.
That was a paid program, and the views and opinions expressed are those of the host and other speakers, and do not reflect the views and opinions of TVG Channel 28.